Hey, welcome back. I'm Carissa and this is my garden. I have a cut flower seed haul today to share with you. I ordered this quite a while ago. Let me just check. I ordered it actually in the summer. So as most of you know, if you do grow cut flowers, seeds sell out rather fast, so you kind of have to get on it quite quickly. I heard a good rule of thumb is when you're growing it and when it's starting to bloom is probably when you should be ordering it for next year. So for example, daffodils, if they're blooming in April, you should probably be thinking about ordering them in April for the next coming year. You just have to kind of be ahead of the game if you are doing it for cut flower production and in large quantities. So anyway, yes, I ordered this from Johnny's Seed. We are here in Canada, Zone 4B, so I did have to pay a hefty fee to ship it here, but that's okay. Johnny's is just, the quality is unparalleled by other companies, and in my opinion, it's worth the extra money. If you're gonna spend money on seeds anyway and they don't do well and they're not good quality, what's the point? You're using up this whole area for something that sort of is lacking. So Johnny's is wonderful and it's great to use them again. So this is going into my third year flower farming. My first year was very small, just testing it out and seeing what works for me and what didn't. And it's hard, right? Not every year is the same as the next. So a flower that works well for you one year might not work well the next year, and vice versa, right? It's very dependent on weather and pests and all those types of things. So I'm definitely willing to try some flowers more than once. But definitely some of my favorites are Zinnias, Cosmos, Status, Yarrow, Snapdragons, sunflowers. I could go on. So I have quite a fair amount in here to get through. I will be posting a picture on this screen because Johnny Seeds doesn't give any picture on the envelope, but they do give a ton of information. If you've never ordered from Johnny's before, it's so amazing how much they give you just in as far as seed starting and conditions that the plant requires or prefers, which really is night and day difference for growing a healthy plant, right? If it's a happy plant, it's going to want to grow, it's going to want to thrive. But if it's lacking in the conditions that it requires or even prefers, it's not going to be the healthiest plant. All right, so I have a mix of annuals, perennials, biennials, everything. I will just go on and list them as I go. All right, my first one is Rocket Hybrid Snapdragon, and that's a mix F1. Seeker Pastel Blue Status. Status is wonderful as a filler flower, but also for dried. And then a mix Forever Happy Status. And then I have a few feverfews. These have done so well for me, and as I said, I'm in zone 4, but they seem to overwinter fine for me. And we actually had an extremely cold winter last year with a lot of snow cover, which does insulate the plant. So I'm hoping that they grow or that they overwinter again this year. So I'm trying a few different ones, hoping that they also overwinter. So I have Tetra White Feverfew and Virgo Feverfew. And then a couple delphiniums, Magic Fountain Cherry Blossom, Magic Fountain's Lilac Pink and White, and then Belladonna Mix Delphinium. I think those are mostly purples and one blue, which is really nice. I'm really trying to up my game with perennials because it just gives you that kickstart in June when none of your hot summer annuals are blooming yet. Some of the perennials will fill in that sort of June area of time when nothing really is blooming that much. And then I have Wild Marjoram, which is a herb, but I'm going to try and use it as a filler. We will see how that goes. Filler foliage type thing. And then a Bee Balm Panorama Mix. I love Bee Balm, and it's totally good for beneficial insects and pollinators, so it's definitely a good addition to your garden, not just for cut flowers. And then Scabiosa. I grew a few of these last year, the blue, the white, and the pink, and they are all perennials, and they were amazing, and they're deer resistant, which is just insane. So I didn't have to use my prime deer fenced area. I could put them out here in my landscape, and I was cutting off them probably June, maybe June. I might be stretching it a little bit, but definitely July to early to late September I was cutting off of them, just continual blooms. So that's so great for a perennial, because usually you get maybe 1 or 2 flushes of blooms with the perennial, but that was just a consistent flush throughout the summer months. So I have deep blue and white, which I'm going to be growing more of. They were my favorites compared to the pink. The pink just didn't have enough bang. The size of the blooms were smaller for me, at least. So I'm definitely going to add more blue and white to my landscape. And then I have apricot peach mix of the straw flowers. Straw flowers are among one of my favorites. They're just incredible for fresh bouquets, but also dried, of course, too. I really enjoy making wreaths and things like that, so straw flowers are definitely a favorite of mine. Afternoon white Cosmo. Cosmos are my favorite. My first year growing them, they did so well. Last year, I actually forgot to pinch them, so it prolonged the waiting period of blooming time, which was unfortunate. So once I kind of realized what was happening, I pinched them, actually gave them a good haircut, because the plant was quite large at that time, but it was just foliage. So I gave them a hard cut, and then they started to bloom, of course. So live and learn. Pinch your cosmos. So anyway, I have tons of them. Zinnias, I think everybody loves zinnias, and if you don't, you're probably crazy. So I've got Oklahoma salmon, Venere's giant coral, and then I've got elegant salmon Clarkia. This I've never grown before, but the color, the elegant salmon, like just the ruffled petals and that nice, very soothing pinkish orange coral, obviously. I just had to try it, so I'm gonna try Clarkia for the first time. And then Johnny's Potomac Custom Mix F1 Hybrid Snapdragon. So obviously that's a mix. Snapdragons are just amazing, and they just do continual flushes throughout the summer months for me here. There's some dogs barking in the neighborhood. I hope that's not too loud. All right, another zinnia, Queenie Lime with Blush. Johnny's Pastel Mix Status. Another Feverfew Snowball. If I can remember correctly, that one's just a really nice, delicate, very circular flower, very tightly clustered, and it's just a nice filler. Vintage White Straw Flower. Cupcakes Blush Cosmo. Madame Butterfly Ivory F1 Hybrid Snapdragon. And I know there's a difference between these snapdragons, bloom time, and you know, if they sort of prefer the cooler weather and then they'll sort of get a jump on the season earlier. I have not given a lot of time into researching that, so that's going to be on my winter homework list. Figuring out which snapdragons I'm going to start earlier than the others to kind of plant out before my first frost. But just so you know, there is a difference. Cinderella Peach Zinnia, new variety to me, and I'm really excited to try that one. It sounds beautiful. Delft Blue Nigella. This is a pretty cute flower, sort of star-shaped, but I mostly grow it for the seed pods, which are just a very unusual looking seed pod. Sort of like out of this world look, Dr. Seuss look, but it's just a lot of fun to kind of tuck in for something unexpected. Winged Everlasting Amobium. This is a tender perennial, so I don't think it'll overwinter in my area, but I'm definitely willing to try it for just one season and see what it looks like, because it almost looks like a smaller straw flower, and I think it's quite cute. And then a purple red straw flower. I have quite a few of those. And then this is new to me too. I have grown Dianthus before, but this is a new one, Shabbat Orange Sherbet. And it's a tender perennial. So I think from Johnny's, they have quite a good YouTube channel just with good information about the seeds that they sell. And I think with protection, these can maybe grow in a zone 4. Oh, sorry, tender perennial zone 6 to 9, best as an annual. I think that means in the later years, after it's done its first year, it might not be blooming as prolific as it was in its first year. But I will try to overwinter this. I might be getting a high tunnel, which I'm very excited about. So with the addition of a high tunnel and then a lower tunnel, I might be able to overwinter this with some good mulch around it. We'll see, it's worth a try. Another zinnia, Oklahoma White Zinnia. I'm not sure if I grew white zinnias my first year, but this year I did, and it was just such a nice reprieve from all the color, just to tuck in a little bit of the white flowers, and it definitely went with my feverfew too, so it was just sort of complementary with each other. So definitely a good color. Lack of color. White is good to add to your bouquets, I think. Benary's Giant White. Johnny's Status Formula Mix. More status, can't get enough of it. I think I had one whole bed, a 4x8 bed in my deer fence area, and I think I was cutting on it all summer long, so I definitely want at least another bed, probably 2 4x8 beds of status. It's just a favorite of mine. Cactus Flowered Mix Zinnia. I usually don't love the mixes, but this one, it came with 500 seeds, and it was actually a really good bargain. The mixes I don't love because harvesting is a little bit tricky. If you're going for a specific color, you know, it's just a mix, usually orange, pink, red, purple, maybe a little bit of yellow even too, and it's not the easiest to harvest from, but the price was just so good for 500 seeds. I was like, oh, I just gotta have it. And then Madame Butterfly F1 Hybrid Snapdragon. I don't know if I've grown the Madame Butterfly series yet. They just look super, super cute though. Very cute. Double Click Cranberries Cosmo. I've definitely grown these before and I loved them. All right, we're almost to the bottom of the pile. It was quite a large order. Xenia, that's Xsenia Cosmo. Double Click Bicolor Pink Cosmo. Versailles Mix Cosmo. Pompous Plume Celosia. This is a plant that I didn't really have good history with, but I'm going to try it again because again, it was a good price for the seed for a large quantity. So I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to give it a try. Worst that happens is I really confirm that I don't want to grow celosia again, and that's all right. All right, another new one to me is Lisianthus, Voyage to Champagne F1 pelleted seeds. So there's only 50 and it comes in a little tube vial. And I'm a little bit nervous about these. From what I've heard, you have to start them extremely early, like January, and then you're probably only going to get blooms by August. So it's a huge time commitment. It's a huge space commitment as well. It's going to be taking up, you know, a section about this big. I use soil blocks so it doesn't take up as much space for about 50 seeds, I think. So about this size space, and I have to keep it from January and then plant it out probably in May, and then it might bloom by August, maybe September. But if you've seen these pictures, and I'll insert a picture, it's just, I've got to try it. It's just like, it's almost like a rose, but multi-stemmed and just a stunning flower. So I'm gonna try it this year. Probably will try it again next year if it doesn't even do well. It's just gorgeous and I had to try it. I think it comes with the territory. If you're a flower farmer, cut flower enthusiast, gardener, you're willing to take risks and sacrifices in order to get a beautiful plant. And that's just part of the adventure, in my opinion. All right, and then two that are actually empty because I've actually planted them already. Summer Pastels Yarrow and Favorite Berries Yarrow. Yarrow is hands down, no, I can't say it's the most amazing plant because there's way too many, but Yarrow is just probably top 10. It's definitely top 10 of my favorites. It's just a workhorse. It's deer resistant, drought tolerant, which I need, both of those things. Flushes at least twice throughout the year. Really early, but I would say June. June is early for us, I guess. And then it'll put out another one July or August. And it's just a great filler for your bouquets. The colors it comes in is just amazing. We have a ton of the common white yarrow growing just in the wild here, and I definitely use the white as well. It's stunning. But the colors are just so beautiful. So definitely love these. Already planted them out and I'm really excited to see them bloom. All right, last one. Firmament is actually Chinese Forget-Me-Not. It's a massive one. I don't even know how many I ordered, but it's definitely it's a huge pack. And you can keep seeds from year to the next, 1 year to the next. The germination rate just goes down a little bit, not tons. So I'm definitely going to use this over the next probably a few years. Anyway, Chinese Forget-Me-Not. It's a beautiful blue flower with tiny little blooms. and just a really, really nice little filler flower. I'm just trying to get a good variety of all the colors that I want and all the different textures that I want and all the different sizes that I want. So if you can think about I've got a couple beautifully other ones I've already, it definitely has, you know, the right proportions, and it's composed in a way that it's not just, you know, 5 huge binary giants, right? Like there's a couple feverfew tucked in, a little bit of status, a little bit of spiky snapdragons, right? It's just all about the texture and variety, and I think that's what makes a really good bouquet. So this is my one order. This is my one order from Johnny's. A couple other shipments already came, and I think I'm due for one more coming up. And that would be it. Well, thanks for joining me. I hope that that was helpful for you. I know as a flower farmer, cut flower enthusiast, and like I said, even a gardener, it's nice just to see what the different varieties are. And I'll insert a picture right now too, just because it's good to kind of see how these colors will complement each other. As I said, this is my 3rd year going into flower farming, and I'm really trying to be intentional about which colors I'm choosing, which textures I'm choosing, and just to have a good variety that really complements each other, because there's nothing worse than having, you know, just colors that just do not look well together, flowers that just don't seem to match. It makes quite a challenge when you're harvesting and putting together bouquets, when it just doesn't feel right. It almost feels a little bit forced. So anyway, this is my picture of just my Johnny's order. And I think I was really intentional about choosing, you know, soft, muted colors, peachy, coral, rose, very soft purples, a little bit of pops. Like I said, I've got that zinnia mix that's a little bit out there, but for the majority of them, they're very muted and I think very soft, so I think they'll go well together. So I think that's just the main takeaway. Kind of think about, in the grand scheme of things, what you want your bouquet to look like, and then sort of plug in the details from there. You know, your filler, your focals, your spikes, your foliage, and put all of those together and just see if that'll make a great bouquet. So that's what I do. I hope that's helpful. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.